Hi, I'm Katherine Kieber. I'm a sophomore studying strategic communication, and I decided to apply for a leadership team position because I danced this year in BobcaThon, and I had such a blast. The event was so well run and well put together, and as a PR major, I'm very interested in events naturally. And I really like that BobcaThon is the kind of organization that really just strives to give back. Obviously, the event you're planning is a fundraiser, and I love that. That's so exciting to me to be part of that. And also, like all of the people I met along the way, just being a dancer, even, everyone was so kind to me and so welcoming. And I'd really like to be surrounded by more of those people in my life. So I did this year get involved with BobcaThon by being a dancer. I really wish that I had been involved my freshman year. Knowing now what I know, BobcaThon was just so fun. It was so good for me, and I really loved being able to give back. Hearing all the stories of people like throughout the night really affected me emotionally, and it really showed me that I was doing what fulfilled me, but also what I should be doing. It was incredible. Really a game changer being involved this year. My time commitments for the year are actually slightly less than I believe they were on my written application. If I remember correctly, I decided not to run for a position with PRSSA, so I will only have major time commitments with Student Alumni Board, which is a meeting or two a week. Yeah, it's about 2 every week. And I manage my time with a planner. So I'm typically very organized. I'm only taking 15 credit hours max right now, so I'm not going to be terribly overloaded for next year, which is a little exciting. I am kind of a doer. I like doing things, so I've been pretty involved the past 2 years. But yeah, I use a planner, I use a wall calendar, I put sticky notes on my walls, I put sticky notes on my computer. Big into organization. Absolutely love it. I also use Outlook Calendar. That's something that we do for my job with the CLDC, and it's something that I've become very comfortable with in the past year. Communicating with everyone involved, so VPs, team members, the rest of LT, and committee members is something that comes really naturally to me. As a PR major, I'm a natural communicator, but also I have been on exec for PRSSA. I served this year as VP of Finance, so I worked with a team of about 8 other individuals on exec to, run the organization. But also to communicate with our general membership, and also like externally, any sort of communication we needed done outside of our organization I was involved in as well. So I'm pretty comfortable with the different types of communication that you need to be doing as a leader in an organization. I also am on the membership committee for SAB, so we do a lot of recruitment, and that's a whole other kind of communication. And I'm very comfortable with all of that as well. In terms of crisis management, I'm very comfortable with crisis management. I kind of enjoy it. Obviously, no one wants a crisis to happen. I don't want a crisis to happen ever. But I really enjoy the rush that you get when you're kind of jumping into action right away to communicate a change or an adjustment. If something happens, even something minor, I'm very comfortable with that. As a PR major, also have handled crises through my internship last summer, and also PRSSA, SAB. That stuff happens. So being able to communicate clearly is so important in those situations. Understanding that sometimes effective communication means taking a minute to kind of confer with your other leadership and make sure that everything you're saying is correct and to the correct people. It's really important that you just kind of cover all your bases and make sure that everyone knows what they need to know as soon as physically possible. And And obviously, like with our coronavirus crisis right now, I've had to adjust kind of how my personal day-to-day workings happen. So sometimes crises take that form as well. And yeah, it's important you just stay calm. I'm really very comfortable being level-headed and ready to go in those situations. Organization. So I think I mentioned this before. I love organization. I use my planner constantly. I'm constantly checking it. Outlook. I use a digital calendar. I use a wall calendar. I use sticky notes. All of that good stuff. I absolutely love writing down my tasks on a to-do list, being able to check them off, and not have to stress about them anymore. So that's how I stay organized for myself. With a group, like if I'm leading a committee, it's a little bit different. I tend to do like group tasks on a Google Doc where everyone can check it. Sometimes emailing out specific action items if a certain member or group of members needs that kind of like more personal checking in. Keeping everyone on track kind of depends on other people's organization styles as well. What I like most about BobcaThon is absolutely everything, from the way the event was run, to the cause, to the people involved. I just feel like the entire organization is so well handled and well structured. I really enjoy that. I like structure, and I like that there's a clear hierarchy. But I also really I just love the people involved. This past year as a dancer, everyone was so welcoming of me. When I would go up to the table, when people were out tabling, I knew some of the members of leadership team and exec this year, but even those I didn't know were just so excited to talk to me and excited to get to know me. The Ronald McDonald House of Central Ohio is the largest Ronald McDonald House, and it serves the Columbus area, but also kind of all of Ohio. I know it services the Athens community quite a bit because that drive to Columbus can just be really grueling when you're having to do it a ton. When you have a sick family member, especially a sick child, that's really difficult to make that drive all the time. For treatment, it's partnered with the Nationwide Children's Hospital, so they're super close physically. I think the number was 200 steps away, which is crazy close. Not even having to drive there when your child's in the hospital, I'm sure just eases so many minds and helps so many families really stay together when they have a child in treatment. I also know that the Ronald McDonald House of Central Ohio is adorable on the inside. I follow their social media accounts and am always seeing the different activities that they do and how they decorate for different holidays. And it really, to me, looks like a home. I haven't been able to go up there yet, but I hope to very soon. But seeing just kind of the activities they do and the things they provide for families, I feel like they really go above and beyond like a hotel. And obviously they provide stays at little to no cost for families. So it's just so important that families can stay there while their child's in treatment, and that it's just so close to Nationwide Children's. As Director of Recruitment and Engagement, I would be able to tie in my experience on PRSSA's exec board. As VP of Finance, I was directly involved in the recruitment process and also the dues paying and membership maintaining process. I worked really closely with our member relations position to ensure that our members were getting the most out of the organization throughout the year. But also at the beginning of each semester doing in-classroom pitching. So just getting whole classes of people excited about the organization, leaving my contact info, answering any questions students might have at that time or at a later time, and also recruiting through social media, posting graphics to my personal story, reaching out to people who may be good assets to the organization, letting them know what it's about, just representing the organization in really any way I can. I'm very comfortable with that. Have done that also through SAB's membership committee. That process is a little bit more formal, but still identifying individuals who may be assets to the organization, and just being really personable, really able to answer any questions and represent the organization in the best light possible, and just getting people hype about it. I think that my experience also with volunteer management through my internship at Imagination Station in Toledo, Ohio, last summer. It's similar to COSI, it's a science center. So we did a lot of volunteer management as a PR department. We worked with our volunteer management team to communicate with all of the volunteers. I was a volunteer intern, so I was able to kind of see both sides of that, and understand like what it means to be appreciated within an organization that you've chosen to volunteer for. I think that I can bring that experience to BobcaThon as well. For Director of Campus Outreach, I think that a lot of the same experience really does apply. I also have experience working with different university departments and organizations as VP of Finance to plan different events for a chapter and to get them interested through partnerships and things like that. I think that just the most important thing with BobcaThon is really showing individuals or organizations or departments what benefit comes to them through being involved with BobcaThon, whether they're looking to donate or to get directly involved through partnerships or dancing. It's really just important to help them understand that what they're doing is going to benefit individuals beyond just Ohio University. It really benefits the whole Athens community, the whole Central Ohio community, and really all of the state. And I think that that impact is profound, and it's so important to really promote BobcaThon as an opportunity for people or groups to really give back at a higher level. Ideas that I have to improve the Director of Recruitment and Engagement position. As a dancer this past year, I really felt like the events, like the tabling and stuff, it was very exciting. It was very fun, but I didn't really start getting engaged with it until after I had already signed up as a dancer and already started raising money. So I would really like to see more events, like informational events, like mini dance parties where we can kind of give people like a little rundown of the organization, but like with some fun music because, you know, it's a dance marathon. Things like that. Events early in the year, in the fall, obviously are great because you can do it outside. You can have food sometimes, depending on your budget. And getting people involved who maybe want to dance on their own instead of just dancing with friends. I didn't get involved my freshman year because I didn't have friends who were going to be involved. And I think that that really is something that we need to watch out for and work together to figure out a way to get individuals more engaged and help them understand that you can make some of your best friends by dancing in BobcaThon. This year, as part of Team SAB, I knew the people I was going to be dancing with, but none of them were like my best college friends. And after dancing with them for 12 hours, I love these people, and I just had such a great time. And I think that it's so important to like create events that help people who are maybe a little more introverted or not as familiar with student organizations in college, like underclassmen especially, just helping them feel welcome and helping them understand that BobcaThon is time commitment wise actually a fairly low time commitment, unless you want to be more involved. And I think that little fun recruitment events throughout the year are a great way of doing that. I think that having dancer meetings where the dancers can meet each other in their color teams, maybe a little bit earlier, would really help doing some color team events before the day of is also a possibility that I would want to look into with the rest of leadership team and exec. Campus outreach, very similar ideas. These two positions, obviously, like, I feel like they work very closely together. With campus outreach, you get the benefit of having already established groups. So reaching out to student organizations to have more like partnership style events beyond just tabling. Things like speaking at student org meetings. Even like with PRSSA, I think of how cool it would be to have a BobcaThon representative or two come in and present a case study for how BobcaThon is planned and communicated about to the organization. It could be a really good learning opportunity for people, and members would also understand exactly what BobcaThon is and how to get involved. I think those opportunities are really important to look into and are relatively low time commitment because it would be, 10 or 15 minutes here or there from a couple members of leadership team or exec. And it wouldn't cost money, budget. I always got to keep that budget in mind. In handling conflict, I have experienced that both personal conflict and conflict with a team. On PRSSA's executive board, sometimes as VP of Finance, I would have to say that thing's not in the budget, or we can't get that reimbursed because you don't have the right receipt, things like that. Just enforcing general rules kind of fell to me, and sometimes other members would get frustrated because they felt like I was always saying no to things. In reality, there are just a lot of rules that you have to abide by sometimes. And being able to take a step back on my end and remove my personal feelings from the situation, not allow myself to get hurt by the fact that they were frustrated, and just understand that the situation is frustrating on all ends, and working with those members to find a solution sooner rather than later, it just helps everyone. It's important to just kind of take a step back and kind of notice where maybe I wasn't communicating super effectively and adjust that, and just help everyone find a solution and move forward from the situation. If I could have dinner with any 3 people, I would probably have dinner with Julius Caesar, Marie Antoinette, and John F. Kennedy. So these are all people who kind of met untimely demises. That wasn't my plan when planning this dinner at all, but happened to be. And I would probably want to ask each of them just kind of about their life, about how they got to where they were in their different areas of status. And specifically with JFK, I really want to know who killed him. I think he would know that. I don't know, maybe. So I would definitely ask him that. And if I could live or travel to any place in the world, I would probably want to travel to Rome right now. I was supposed to go to Rome for spring break this year on a trip with a history class, and unfortunately I didn't get to go because of the coronavirus outbreak. So I'm kind of thinking when I'm able to travel next, I would really like to go to Rome. I would absolutely accept a leadership team position I didn't apply for. I really just want to get more involved with this organization, and feel like being a part of leadership team, regardless of role, would be fantastic and would really be the highlight of my year. I would just be so happy to be contributing to the mission of the Ronald McDonald House in that way. So, thank you. Bye.